We are excited that you are excited to be there.
That's terrific. My first question is, do civilizations on other star systems still have a zodiac system?
Well, obviously, they sometimes will recognize that they can impose patterns on the stars, but not many of them express the idea of the zodiac in the way that your planet does.
Okay.
At least none that we've encountered so far.
So that's like a unique thing to Earth here?
Relatively, in the way that you express it, yes.
Okay.
Others can recognize the idea of the reflective nature of those patterns being a reflection of different levels of their collective or individual consciousness. But the way that many people on your planet interpret this, as you call in a zodiac format, is relatively unique.
Okay. My next question is, I understand how everything's happening all at once. Like, I feel that to be true.
All right.
But I don't really understand how that's possible or how that actually works.
Well, it's possible because there's actually only one moment in existence. Now. Therefore, there's only one place everything needs to exist in. Now and here. That's it. So it has to have the ultimate time-sharing program of the only place there is and the only time there is, here and now. Therefore, the different vibrations cause it to seem as if it's sharing that same now and here on different frequencies that then create the ability to perceive them without overlapping. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Well, you know, again, by analogy, that if you are watching one television program on your TV, you know there are probably hundreds of other programs playing simultaneously,
right?
Don't you? Well, don't they all exist at the same time for you? It's just that they're on different frequencies. So you only see the one that you're tuned to at any given moment. But if you change the channel, then you see another one of the parallel reality TV shows that was going on at the same time as the show you were just watching, and no longer perceive the one that you were looking at because now you've shifted your frequency. That's how it works. Simple as that.
But how is it possible that like 5,000 years ago was happening right now also?
Because it's just a different TV show. It's just a different program. You're just calling it 5,000 years ago because that's your linear perspective. That's your relationship to the show. But it's going on right now. It's just going on in a format you think is called 5,000 years ago. That's the play that's playing. Just again, as if you watch a television program that is about life 5,000 years ago. But it's still playing right now. Mm-hmm. Same analogy.
Okay, I see.
Does that help?
It does help.
All right.
And I have one more question, if that's all right.
Yes?
I'm very into the...
One moment. Let me check with the great overlords of the universe if it's all right for you to have another question. Oh, all right. They grudgingly say yes.
Have I been granted one more question now?
That was a question. So now you're using them up, asking if you can ask questions. Just ask the question.
Okay.
I will tell you whether it's appropriate or not for us to answer.
Okay. Well, I'm very into the law of attraction. And
yes.
I see it working in my life all
yes.
day long.
Yes.
Usually in little ways, but sometimes in really spectacular ways too.
Yes.
And
yes.
It seems to me like there's still some times where my higher self or something steps in and kind of keeps me from something and
keeps you from
or
something.
Like kind of like ask me like, is this what you really want? Like it'll give me
it's not
like
about
of something.
Well, there's the idea. It's not about what you want. It's about what you need.
Okay.
There's a big difference sometimes between those. Sometimes they can overlap, but quite often what you want and what you need are very different things.
So even sometimes when I'm really focusing on one particular thing,
yes.
and I don't get that, it's because it's not what I need, right?
It's not what you need at that moment. Maybe all you needed to do was learn how to focus.
Damn.
The idea is, do you trust the way your life unfolds?
Absolutely.
Yes or no? Then nothing is keeping you from anything. Everything that happens is exactly what you need at that moment. Use it in the best and most positive possible way, and you may begin to understand why that thing happened instead of something else. Remember, these things are nonlinear too. So A thing may happen in your life, and you may scratch your head and go, I do not understand why this is happening in my life right now. 10 years later, you may understand perfectly why it happened when it did. Mm-hmm. But 10 years later, from the higher mind, is right now. So the idea is that it just played out in your life in the way that it did linearly, because you're focused in a linear space-time perspective. But it had to express itself when it did in order for it to make sense to you when you caught up to the reason that it happened. So you would have the information you would need at that time by having had the experience 10 years ago.
I understand.
Make sense? You need to have a broader perspective of how all these things are interlinked rather than such a tunnel vision of linear reality. It's a much bigger network of things going on simultaneously that place themselves linearly where they need to, because that's how you need to experience it in order for it to ultimately make sense in the big picture of your entire life, not just what's happening with you at this particular moment.
That's what I'm starting to see, too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have so many questions.
So many questions.
Yes.
Are you sure that a lot of them aren't the same question in different clothing?
No, I'm not sure.
All right. Begin however you wish.
Okay. Are there any extraterrestrials that don't have any questions, or any beings, like, do plants have questions?
Yes, but not in the way that you understand that concept. It's a very different expression of consciousness, and it isn't really something that you can relate to in the way that you express it as a human. But everything is conscious. Everything is self-aware in one way, shape, or form, even though it may be a very alien form of self-awareness to you. But everything, in a sense, knows, if you want to call this a question, that it is being encouraged to be more of what it is. So it is always, in a sense, seeking. There is always mystery. There's always the opportunity to expand, to grow, to change, to express more of whatever it is. So if you want to say that that might be a series of questions, well, that's an analogy that can work, but it won't be exactly how those different life forms are experiencing it. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So consciousness is similar to a state of questioning, or?
Well, in a sense, consciousness is self-awareness. It is the first reflection of all that is of itself, so it knows it is itself. So self-awareness is consciousness. And therefore, it constantly expands as the reflections in a hall of mirrors continue to expand to infinity. So everything is in that state of self-reflectivity and self-expansion. Yes.
Okay.
Now, the structure never changes. The structure never grows. The hall of mirrors is the hall of mirrors. But the perspectives, the angles, the experiences constantly change, and that's how creation expands. But the structure of it never does.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Kind of, yes.
Kind of. All right. Good enough.
I'll have to listen to it again later.
If you say so.
I have a question about the physical body.
Yes.
And how negative beliefs affect it.
Well, I think you all have some experience with that, don't you? The first level would be called stress. The next level would be called disease. The next level would be called death.
Where did the first negative belief come from?
In the moment of the creation of existence itself, if you want to put it poetically or linearly, remember that once all that is was self-aware and became aware it is everything, then it is both positive and negative. Everything has positive and negative except the one, which is homogeneous and unaware of itself. But as soon as it became aware of itself, there is the Trinity. Positive, negative, the balance point in the center. So the idea of negative beliefs are inherent in the structure of existence itself. Make sense?
Yes. How do we love ourselves if we are one? We don't have something to...
How do you love yourself?
Yeah, I mean, what is it that's loving ourselves?
You.
You?
And all that is. Remember, it's this and that, not this or that.
Okay.
You have to understand that both sides, cause and effect, are actually one experience. One doesn't actually come before the other. Both are there simultaneously. So one reinforces the other. And from your linear perspective, sometimes it can seem as if one began before the other, but that's not actually mechanically the case. So all that is loving you unconditionally and allowing you as an aspect of all that is to also love yourself unconditionally. Yes?
Yes.
So it's all that is loving itself in all the ways it can.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Anything
yes.
else?
So our body is a dense energy field?
Yes, it's kind of a crystallized spiritual energy field. Remember that you're actually in spirit right now. You never leave. That's kind of your natural state. You're just dreaming that you've left. Physical reality is just a projection of consciousness. You're playing a game, pretending that you've left the spirit realm, but you haven't. You never do.
So
Make sense?
after the body goes away,
you're just
dissolve.
expanding your focus. Because it's not really accurate to say that your spirit is in your body. It's more accurate to say your body is in your spirit. So you expand your consciousness focus beyond the physical realm, and in a sense you could say the body is reabsorbed, so to speak, back into spiritual energy. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But it usually happens over time, because body, the concept of your body, is a product of the linear space-time reality. Therefore, it follows those conditions. It follows those rules. Now, it doesn't have to. On our planet, at our point in our evolution, when we do die, our body just goes, it's just gone. Because we accelerate so rapidly into spirit. We leave nothing behind.
So there's less of a change in your consciousness?
There is less of a change in our consciousness, although it does expand. But we are already in our point of evolution quasi-physical, exhibiting both the qualities of physical and non-physical reality.
And you do have some time?
Yes,
in your
yes,
realm.
we understand the basic concept, but for us, it's much more flexible and malleable, as it's becoming more so for all of you.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yes. I have one more question.
Yes.
I had a dream many years ago about, I don't know if it was another planet, but I went to this place which appeared to be another planet, and all of the, there were rows of food growing, like vegetables, and
Yes.
and everything was much more vibrant. And
Yes.
when I touched the vegetables,
Yes.
it was like they communicated with me, and they were,
Yes.
I had much more expanded consciousness.
What you
of them.
experienced was future Earth.
Oh. Okay. It was wonderful.
Well, yes, it is.
Yes.
Please again remember, everything exists simultaneously. Every possible version of Earth you can imagine exists alongside the version you're experiencing right now. You never change the Earth you're on. You change yourself, and you shift to another already existing version of Earth that is already more reflective of the change you made within yourself. But the Earth that you were on a moment ago still exists. You just keep shifting through different versions of it. Each version never changes. Make sense?
Yes, it does.
That's how you change. Because you are passing those parallel reality concepts through your consciousness. But from a linear space-time perspective, you experience it as if the change is going on outside you, in the world around you. It never is. You're changing and shifting yourself to different versions of Earth that are simply more representative of the change you made within you. You're doing that billions of times per second, literally. Billions of times per second. That's what time is. Time is a side effect of your consciousness shifting through billions of versions of parallel realities every second. Otherwise, if there was no shifting, there would be no movement. Everything would be a frozen snapshot. Make sense?
Yes. Yes.
All right, well then go have fun with that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't really have any specific questions, so I just talk about something.
That's all right. You can make a statement if you wish.
That's fine. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was excitement.
Yes.
The world is just fascinating to me. There's so many, the physical world, there's like so many different, areas and things and everything. Lately, I've become very fascinated with aviation and, flight and all of that. Can I talk a bit more about how that works? Where does that excitement come in, and how does that translate into, physical world? Because
Well, it can translate many ways. I mean, when we talk about the idea of acting on your highest excitement, as we often say, we don't necessarily mean that you have to be jumping up and down and running around like crazy with your hair on fire. We simply mean that excitement can also be translated as a sense of balanced peace. It just depends on what you're passionate about and what is appropriate and in alignment with you at that moment as an expression of your true self. That's what that means. So it can express itself in any number of ways. You can be excited about being tired and going to sleep. You can be excited about many different things. You can be passionate and express your passion in any number of ways. It's up to you as a unique individual to decide which expression is true for you at any given moment. And it can change from moment to moment. One moment you may be passionate about expressing yourself this way. The next you may be passionate about expressing yourself a different way. You have to follow the thread. But excitement is the thread. It is your path. It's the physical translation of the vibrational energy that is truly your signature frequency. That's what excitement and passion and love and creativity is. Does that make sense?
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not entirely sure why, sometimes some things excite me more than others and so on.
Because right now, that's the thing that you need to really do. Again, it's the organizing principle. It shows you through what excites you more than something else that this is the thing you need to act on next. It's actually guiding you. It's actually laying things out for you in the order in which they actually need to be done that would serve you best. So if at the end of a day, when you're excited about being tired, you've accomplished only a certain amount of things by acting on your excitement, those are the things you needed to do that day and nothing else needed to be done.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. I often feel very different from the rest of the people that I, meet. Like, for
Yes.
example, dreams I don't have as much, or, in terms of fear and all of
That's
that.
all right. Then that's your way.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I was just curious about what that is exactly.
Everyone approaches this differently. Everyone has a different way of expressing and experiencing these things. Just be true to yourself.
Okay.
Yes?
When there's, certain meditative experiences or certain energy moving, sometimes I feel cold. Sometimes, the temperature feels a bit lower than what it was. Is there
Yes,
some...
well, you may be dealing with different kinds of energy and acclimating to them. You may be processing them. You may be letting go of resistance to them. There may be many different reasons why those kinds of changes are experienced in the body when you're dealing with integrating new energies.
Okay.
Remember that in your science, the idea of becoming superconductive requires that your temperature be lower. Yes?
Yep.
To make sure there is less resistance to the energy flowing through. So
Right.
that might be one reason. You may be equating the idea of cooling yourself down to becoming more superconductive.
Okay.
Yes?
Yep.
Does that help?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello.
Andrew, you good day.
So I have one question. So could you
Speak up, speak up.
Could you tell me non-duality things? Non-duality. Non-duality? Yeah. Yes.
Non-duality.
Yes.
There is only non-duality in the one. That's the only place there is non-duality. But like I said, it's not really duality, it's a trinity. There is always the balance point in the center. So when there is duality, it's actually a trinity. And the duality begins with all that is, which is the first reflection of the one of itself that knows itself as the one. We simply refer to that as all that is. So the first reflection, the first self-awareness of the one creates the idea of the trinity that expresses itself as duality and the center balance point. But the one is unaware of itself. It's unbroken. It has no awareness, no reflection. There is no sense of an other. Therefore, there is no reflection that it is different than an other. So there is no duality there. There is only one.
Okay.
But that's the only level that has that. But it doesn't experience it because there's no experience in something that has no idea of itself. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does that help?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right, then please all enjoy your refreshment break. We will resume this transmission afterward.
Oh, no, the sacred deity of this day of your time. How are you all? All right. Once again, we will continue with this transmission by first and foremost thanking each and every one of you in deep appreciation and gratitude for the co-creation of these interactions, which allows for certain changes to occur in the vibrational frequency of the makeup of both of our respective realities. This transmission, we would like to focus on an idea we have called, in our language, sacred circuitry. You all have diagrams of some, just a few, of the sacred circuits. What this is a reference to is a particular tool, a particular technique, a particular reflective idea that is unique in a very specific way. Most times what we have shared with you as tools and techniques and permission slips have come from our own society's understandings, our own society's applications of these principles that we discuss with you. While we have ourselves adopted and adapted this idea within our society, this particular technique comes as a gift, as a sharing, handed down from other societies in creation. We will only go so far back as to say that while it did not originate with them, what is relevant to this particular interaction is that this particular technique was also adopted and adapted by the civilization, the physical civilization in the star system of Sirius, and handed down to the hybrid civilization that we have already spoken of, that we call the first ones, the Shalanaya or the Yael, who have handed it down to our civilization, the Sathani people, and now we hand it down to you. So this is the first time that we are sharing a technique, a tool, a permission slip, a gift, handed down as a gift from other civilizations in a specific succession. And you are next in line to receive this gift, this sharing. So we bequeath this now to you, to make it your own, to adopt it and adapt it to your own imaginings, your own civilization, So while we will give you some brief instruction as to how perhaps to utilize this particular permission slip, please understand that in time you may also rely upon your own imagination, the conduit between your physical mind and higher mind, your spirit guides, your synchronicities, your own understandings of the choices that you have made to experience this reality. You may rely on these things to adapt this idea, this tool, in whatever way, shape, or form suits you best, individually and collectively. But the basic idea is that it will tap into, like many permission slips, the collective consciousness and unconsciousness of your civilization, the collective world spirit of your civilization, and that is why, even though you may adapt it in a very personal manner, it will have some effect on most of you, even though it is a permission slip, and you are giving yourself permission by simply using this as a reflection to become more of yourselves. It will key into those things that are extremely common with most of you, because it taps right into the idea of the wiring of the brain, the neurological wiring of your brains. As we have said before, there are 3 levels to the idea of the reception of information in the idea of physical reality. There is the higher mind, which is the conceiver. There is the physical brain, which is the receiver, the antenna. And there is the physical mind, which is the perceiver of the experience. This permission slip, this gift, this sharing handed down, is specifically designed to assist you in rewiring and adapting your receiver, your antenna, your brain, your physical brain, in such a manner as to allow for many different things, one of which is greater communication between your physical mind and higher mind, allowing your brain to become not just superconductive, but hyperconductive, allowing information to go smoothly, effortlessly, in both directions, from physical to higher, from higher to physical. Thus acting also more as a network, allowing you to associate more readily, tap into and access more information more readily, gain perspectives that allow for broader understanding of various levels of your reality experience, that allow you to tap into broader capability at perceiving other levels of reality, other dimensions of experience. Of course, as we have also said, each and every thought you have changes the wiring of your brain, and based specifically on what we spoke of last night of your time in terms of shifting through parallel realities. The idea being that you are truly a different person, a new person, literally, every moment. The idea of learning how to consciously rewire your brains in specific ways will allow you more efficacy in becoming the person that you wish to become, that you prefer to become, who you prefer to be. And thus then, along with that, the attendant parallel reality that is reflective of that state. Now, as you gaze at the first 15 of the sacred circuits, and there are many, many more, but we will start here. We will keep it simple. The idea, first and foremost, one way that you can begin to utilize these would be to take some time, on your own time, to turn each and every one of these into its own, as you call them, flashcard, individually. 15 flashcards, each one with one symbol and one word upon it. As you thus create these flashcards, 1 to 15, with each attendant circuit and attendant word, the idea would be to sit in a quiet and meditative way, a relaxed and peaceful way, in an environment that you find relaxing and peaceful, with music if you wish, with colors if you wish, however you wish it to be, that to you represents a peaceful state, without interruption. The idea being that you will take and gaze at each one of these in succession, in order, 1 minute a card, for 15 minutes. Do this 3 days in a row. 1 card at a time, 1 minute per card, in order, 1 through 15 for 15 minutes. And as you simply gaze and ponder and allow your mind to drift, and just absorb the idea of the shape, just absorb the idea of the attendant concept, without thinking, without analyzing, just let it in, just gaze at it, just let your eyes be the true windows to your soul, your spirit, your mind, and everything else. Bless you. Allow yourselves the opportunity to just sit with these shapes and know that as you do so, what they are doing is that they are specifically designed to allow the neurological circuitry in your brain to rewire itself to be representative of each and every one of these symbolic shapes, so that it may function in accord with the concept that is attendant to this shape. And overall, over the course of these first 15, allow you to more holistically function in a hyperconnective, hyperconductive, associative, accessing way to knowledge, information about yourself, about the cosmos, about all that is, in whatever way, shape, or form is appropriate for you as an individual aspect of creation. After you have done it 3 days in a row, in order, 1 through 15 each time, thereafter, you may do it in any order you so desire, any order you are attracted to, whatever it is in that sense you are wishing to focus on, you may do it in that way. And you do not necessarily have to even do them all. You may find yourself sometimes gravitating to simply 1, 2, or 3, or more in any given day. The idea, however, is that how many ever you decide on any given single day, and you do not need to do this more than once a day. You can do it twice. You can do it 3 times. I would not suggest you do it more. The idea is that you need to allow your brain time to adapt, time to incorporate, time to absorb, time to crystallize these effects, these adaptations, these circuits. So, start slow, start soft, let it take whatever time it is natural for it to take. And if you only do less than 15 on any given day, after you do the first 3 days in the order in which they come, then allow yourself again at any given sitting, even if you're only using 1, to not do it for more than 15 minutes. As we have spoken of before, in the session that we entitled 15 Minutes and Counting, and as you have observed and will observe with the meditation that is attendant to the holotope experience, 15 minutes is the time frame in your reality that best suits the absorption of information and the alteration and the rewiring of the brain for a specific task. Longer than that is really not efficient. Longer than that can actually, in some senses, before it is, in that sense, absorbed appropriately and adapted appropriately, before it is crystallized, can actually allow you to lose the effect a little bit. So keep it simple, keep it short, always keep it to 15 minutes. You do not need more than that, guaranteed. So, take a moment now. We don't have to spend the 15 minutes doing it, but just take a moment now, starting on the first page, to simply take a few seconds to gaze at each one in order, 1 through 15. This is just by way now of introducing your brain to the concept. You are making now a formal introduction to allow your brain to know what's coming, because the physical mind loves to know what's coming. So we will give it its due at the moment and give it a little bit of preparation. Look at number 1. Just number 1. Just take a moment and say hello to each symbol and form an associative, loving, peaceful, exciting, creative, playful energy with each symbol. Look at number 2. Do the same. Just 1 or 2 breaths with each symbol is all that is necessary, maybe 3 breaths. Take a moment, look at number 3. Let the symbol fill your gaze, fill your mind, feel it. In a sense, being recognized and acknowledged by your physical mind, by your brain. If you even wish to feel a sensation or create a sensation of the circuitry in your brain actually rewiring itself as you do this, that's fine, for this is the beginning of the permission slip, even in this simple form. Look at number 4. Allow yourself to familiarize the shape in your mind. Look at number 5. Take a breath. Take 2. Flip over to number 6. And understand, of course, again, that it is no accident. These are broken down into 5s. 5 being the number of humanity. This is one of the adaptations specifically for your civilization. So all the times we will introduce these circuits and more of them later on to you, they will always be given to you in clusters of 5. So look at number 6. Look at number 7. Allow yourself to drift to number 8. Ponder and explore the shapes of number 9 and number 10 at whatever rate you are comfortable with. You do not have to follow exactly the pace at which we are moving. Just take a moment to sit with it. And then go ahead and flip, if you wish, to 11. Allow yourselves to feel the expansiveness that comes with that symbol. Allow yourself to flip to number 12 in your mind. And feel the activity that comes with that. Allow yourself to ponder number 13, the great transformer. That which is the crucible that allows for all change in a smooth and effortless way. Then ponder, if you will, number 14, the great, in that sense, connector. To reinforce and recrystallize and establish your connection to all things. And then, last but certainly not least, the great manifestation. That which allows you to see all things coming into play, all things finding their appropriate place and time and timing. All the things you're already connected to suddenly being capable of appearing to you in your sight, because you have expanded your frequency and thus are capable of seeing what was heretofore invisible to you. For that is all manifestation is the making visible which is already here, that which is invisible before. So thus then now you have this tool, this technique, this gift, this sharing, this permission slip. Do not worry about how you recreate these symbols on your flashcards. You may do them by hand. It is one of the reasons we instructed the channel, when we downloaded this information to him, to leave them as hand-drawn symbols. You do not need to make them any more precise. You can if you wish to. You may doll them up, decorate them up, in any way, shape, or form you so desire, as long as the basic symbol is maintained intact. You may make them more precise, Or you may simply hand draw them as you see here. They will always work. It does not matter. And in some senses, in particular, in actual fact, if you actually hand draw them to the best of your ability, it will actually be more strongly connected to your circuitry. Because you did it with your circuitry. More directly. More, shall we say, naturally. Again, it is up to you. If you feel a stronger kinship with them by rendering them via some form of computer art or what have you, that is up to you. But just allow yourself to sense whether the symbols thus then feel a little bit removed or whether they still feel a part of you, an extension of you, and capable of being related to by you in a natural way. That is what is most important. That you truly form a relationship with each and every one of these symbols. Each and every one is like a little autonomous being with its own consciousness, its own vibration, its own reality, its own awareness, and it is willing to form a relationship with you and express itself as an imprint, an encodation in your brain, in your neurological circuitry, to aid and assist you in being a smooth receiver, an expanded antenna, and to help facilitate through the conduit of imagination and inspiration a greater dialogue, a clearer dialogue, an active dialogue and an active partnership between your physical mind and higher mind, using the facilitator of your brain, your receiver, your antenna. One moment, we have a guest who wishes to say a few words. Greetings. Greetings. I am the primary facilitator for the Sasani homeworld. What you would recognize in your future as the replacement for what you now call government, which we do not have. We have only those that assist in the facilitation of the synchronicity that exists within the telepathic bond between all of our race. We are speaking with you this day in this way because of this gift that our world passes down to you, and in this way allows you to become more connected with us as you become more connected with yourselves. We extend to you, all of you, our deep appreciation at being willing to become part of our family, our extended family in this way. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our family. By this gift, you will find yourselves from time to time, quite literally. By this gift, you will find yourselves from place to place, quite literally. With this gift, you will find space and time more flexible, more malleable. You will find shifts in your perceptions and your perspectives that will line up more truly with your fundamental selves, your core being, the aspects of your creatorhood, and more flow with your synchronicity. In particular, pay attention to the glyph, the circuit, that is the circuit called flow. For when you arrive in pondering the circuit called flow, you will be specifically accelerating the energy of all that flows to you and all that flows from you. And as you align with this flow, you will more readily receive and you will more readily give that vibration that is translated in your reality as unconditional love. And as you are more willing to stand in the path, in the tunnel, in the conduit, in the pipeline of that flow, you will find yourselves becoming expanded in very specific ways that may allow you to catch glimpses of other realities that are concurrent with your own, that have relevance and meaning synchronistically for you, and may illuminate more readily, and may illuminate more clearly your particular choices for this life, and may assist you in recalling, reawakening the choices that you made for this physical reality, so as to more clearly illuminate the path you have chosen to be, and more clearly grant you understanding, true, fundamental understanding of why it is obvious to act upon your joy every moment that you have been granted existence and life. And allow your experience to be undifferentiated from what and who you are, for you are the experience you are having itself. You are the experience all that is having of itself. Have a grand experience with this gift. Once again, we welcome you to our family. We welcome you to our society, as you have welcomed us to yours. We salute you. We give you back your tutor. This is a time when you have arrived at a place where this being we call the primary facilitator thus then gives his 3 cents, and thus then acts as a demarcation that is another marker, another milestone on the path of contact, and allows you to know that you have expanded to the point to use this greeting from him as a barometer, to know that you have arrived at a point where you are now taking a step to another level, expanding to another level, to another accelerative level that will allow for more contact to begin to occur in a variety of ways. So do not be surprised, or if you wish to be surprised, go right ahead, by the fact that over the course of the remainder of what you call this orbit, this year, and into the beginning of your year you call 2011, that there may be far more reported activity of what you call spacecraft in your skies, and far more activity within you and yourselves and your memory and remembering that many of you, and in some ways all of you, have already had certain kinds of contact that you may simply not be remembering yet, But by this greeting as a demarcation, you will find that you may accelerate in your dreams or even in your physical waking state to begin to remember encounters you have already had on other levels and even on your level. And it is the pace at which you remember that contact has already occurred in certain ways that we use as a barometer to gauge. The rate at which you remember the contacts that have already occurred is the barometer we use to gauge when your society is ready for more. For remember, after your year of 2012, the quarantine will be off, and the idea of contact and the rate at which it occurs will no longer be based on the idea of our hands-off policy. It will totally be based on the rate at which you yourselves deem you are ready for open contact by your actions, by the things you do in your world, by the changes you create within yourself and the responses that occur within yourself to whatever is going on your planet. From that point forward, and what you call that particular demarcation point, the end of the old cycle, the beginning of the new, on your December 21st, 2012, will be the final date wherein we are prevented by our own reckonings from interacting with you. It will solely be in your hands as to determine when your world is willing to open up more and more for further relationship with all of us and others. So, we give you this tool, this day, as a particular special present to mark this birth and new birth and rebirth of yourselves as new people in a new reality with a different history and a completely different future that you are creating from a completely different present. Yay. So congratulations. Thank you for applauding yourselves. At this timing, we may begin with explorations, questions, and discussions that are pertinent and germane to the ideas we have expounded upon herein.